Hey, what's going on, everybody? Kenan here, hanging out on a nice day. A little bit cool, but it's a fun day down here in South Florida. As you can see, we've got Senor Guapo out with us today. And well, I figured since Tuesday's episode did really well, a lot of you have watched it. Really excited about that. Thank you. There were a lot of questions. I didn't get to answer them. It's been a crazy week with the holidays ending and so on. But I figured, hey, why don't we start talking about it right now? I can hang out. You guys can check out Guapo. I'll give Guapo a little hibiscus there. Maybe he's still hungry. I don't know, but he's being a good guy, just kind of hanging out on the show right now. So I've got my phone. I'm going to dip down. I'm going to start looking at some of the questions that you guys might have, but a little business to take care of first. For those of you that ordered t-shirts, thank you so much. I'm going to send them out on Monday, guys. So if you've ordered a t-shirt and I haven't actually sent it out, please don't worry. I have got your orders. They're going to go out on Monday because the holiday will slow down all of the deliveries. So I just wanted to wait, accumulate a couple of orders, and then go ahead and ship them out Monday. So yeah, man, how's everybody doing? Very cool. Hello, Dragon Gamer TV, man. What's going on? Glad you could join us. So today we're going to be talking about the Rock Iguanas. I've got two animals with me. One's down here. I'll pull them out in a little while. Obviously, you guys know from the show, Senor Guapo, my buddy. I've had him since August of 2004, and you can see he loves hibiscus flowers. He's just a really beautiful and well-behaved animal. I love him. He does a lot of my live stuff, a lot of my educational shows. I just think he's a very majestic and, well, to be perfectly honest, he's a real rocker, dude. He's a good dude. He's chill. And, you know, these animals, you can find them, of course, on the island of Cuba. And with the Cyclura iguanas, those are the iguanas that are found in the Caribbean. Not all Caribbean iguanas are Cyclura, but if we're going to talk about Cyclura iguanas, they get that name from their circular tail that has spikes all around it. Not quite a spiny tail, but it is a circular tail. And another way you can differentiate a Cyclura iguana from, say, a centenosaur, which is a spiny tail iguana from the mainland of Central America, you'll look here. If you guys can look, you see where my finger is? See the break in the scales? Excuse me, in the spines? There's a break here on the neck. There's also a break here between, I don't know if you can see that. Oh, yeah, you can. There's a break between the tail spikes and the body spikes. So that's another way you can kind of tell if it's a Cyclura. All Cyclura are going to have those features, okay? Circular tail, round tail, and the breaks between the neck and the body and the tail and the spines. So let's look at some of these questions. Thank you, Kevin Seckerson. Thank you for all the rescues and information. I appreciate it, man. We're just trying to have fun out here. And, you know, we try and get those rescues off to new homes, which is the case with the iguana that we rescued. That was a pretty big video for us. The one that was all tied up, we got that one to a new home. Because at the end of the day, guys, I'm one dude here. I don't want to have too many animals to where I'm actually causing more harm than good. Where did I get, Karate Dog for Life wants to know, where did I get Senor Guapo? Very good question. So in 2004, I went to the Daytona Beach Reptile Expo. And there was a gentleman there by the name of Doug Beard. And he had been breeding Cyclura for many years. He's been known in the hobby as a Cyclura breeder. Let's give him another one so he doesn't have to walk too far. And basically what I did was I asked for a male and female, and we probed them there because they were about 6 to 7 months old, which is a safe time to probe them with a special tool to tell whether they are male or female. And what we do is to probe them, if the probe goes in a certain depth, it tells you that it's a male because the hemipenes fit inside a pocket. You're not going to leave me, are you, buddy? Stay a little bit longer, my friend. Come here, look. So if it goes deep, it is a male. If it's a shallow probe, if the probe doesn't go quite so deep into their cloaca, then you know it's a female. So we did that. I got Guapo and Lola, his gal, but they were really small. They were babies, man. So I got them in 2004. So Guapo was about 6 or 7 months old. Here he is now. I guess he's about 14 years old going on in August. He'll be 14. So I love him. Oh, he's got a little bit of a scratch. He always reminds me of a dog when he does that. He just gives himself a little scratch. I think he's going to, I don't want you to go down that way, Guapo. You know why? Because there's a bunch of fire ants down there. So that's where I got him, man. Let's see what other questions we have. Can I, What large lizard would I suggest for someone who lives in Canada where it snows in the winter? Thor, Odin seal. Now, I don't know if that's your real name, Thor, but that's a pretty darn good name, dude. I mean, to have your first name be Thor and then your last name be Odin seal, it's pretty tough. Now, I don't know if that's a screen name or not, but whatever, dude. Pretty cool. Here's the deal. Personally, I wouldn't want to keep a large large lizard up north because, you know, you're going to run into a situation where they're active, they poop a lot, they require a lot of space, they require a lot of heat and light. I would advise against it, but you're going to need a room-sized enclosure, and it's going to be very, very cost prohibitive for you to afford to do that. To keep it hot and keep it, you know, the right temperatures and humidity and so on. I would just steer you away from that, buddy. You could always move down here or somewhere warm. I don't know. There's nowhere warm in Canada, though. I guess Vancouver would be it. I would recommend going to a medium-sized lizard, you know, a smaller centenosaur, which is a spiny tail iguana. They don't grow massive. You know, you could always look into, hey, buddy, you can always look into perhaps going with, you know, some type of geckos, some of the lychee geckos, I believe they're called. They can be decent size to where it's a nice, robust animal, but they can do well in cooler climates because from where they're from, it's a little bit cooler, not quite as cold as where you live. Hey, do me a favor, stay up here with me, will you? Keep basking, will you, kid? Come on, keep basking. I ran out of flowers. Maybe I could get some leaves. He wants to go down. You want to come on me? Come on, bub. So anywho, let's see what else do we got, guys. I'm looking for what size tank does a rock iguana need? Well, number one, you don't want to keep them in a tank. You want to keep them in an enclosure. You know, tanks that are made out of glass like an aquarium, the animal can see through and doesn't perceive the fact that there's glass. They don't understand, so they're always pacing, much like I say about our tortoises. You don't want to keep them in a tank. Fish belong in a fish tank. You want to build a cool enclosure for your reptile. So when you're starting out, a young hatchling will do good in a 4x4 and about 2.5 foot tall enclosure. Some climbing branches, different heights for the basking. You can have one basking light. You can kind of put some of the rocks closer to it, some down, let the animal decide where it wants to bask. That's very important for them to thermoregulate. A hiding area, a water bowl, a food bowl. The substrate should be something that can't get them impacted. I like using a mixture of organic potting soil with repti bark, you know, and always feed them on that dish because you don't want them to kind of get an impaction. So that's what I would suggest. Let's see. Senor Guapo, Georgia Watkins. Senor Guapo is actually about 14 years old. And these animals will live about 50 years. Cyclura can live about 50 years. My favorite lizard, Riley Cullen. It would have to be some of the Cyclura. Of course, Guapo is one of them. And I do love monitors. Obviously, you guys have seen some of the vids. I don't want them to go down because that's an ant nest there, and I just don't want them doing that. But some of the lizards, like who are they? The monitor lizards I love just because they're pretty intelligent. Same thing with the Cyclura. These guys are pretty smart, and they can be stubborn because he wants to go where he wants to go. So let's see if he chills out for a little while. So these definitely are my favorite lizards because I would obviously only keep lizards that are near and dear to my heart, you know. So love the rock iguanas, whether it's the Cuban rock iguana or the rhinoceros iguana. Both you can get fairly easy here in the United States, as they're bred in very large numbers here. A good friend of mine, Ty Park, does a fantastic job with his lizards. He's somebody I would recommend getting a lizard from. You know, when I have babies for sale, I don't breed in the same numbers that Ty does, but I do offer some of my babies for sale. In fact, I'm going to pull a baby out here soon, and we're going to meet him. Yes, he is a beast, Quantum Reptile. He is my beast. I mean, he's very regal. He's got some cool red eyes. Let's see. I'm looking, guys. How do you make them breed? Reptile Gamer blogs. That's another good question. Here in South Florida, I don't make them breed. I just give them a large enclosure, put one male and one female together, let them get used to each other because they can be territorial. They also can be very aggressive towards each other. So you have to watch that because I don't know if you're going to be able to see it on this side, but Lola, his girlfriend who's chilling out in the enclosure, has bit off one of his toes. that's no joke. I mean, these guys can inflict some serious damage to each other. So you want to watch that. Basically, what I do is I allow them to cohabitate for a while. They need to be at least 3 or 4 years old before they're sexually reproductive. That being said, I would wait longer, maybe 6, 7 years old before I would really breed them. You can stress out the female if she's, got a lot of egg follicles and her size she hasn't grown enough to safely pass them. Basically, I let them alone, let them get used to each other, let them get used to the habitat. And then in June, in May, late April, May, you start to see breeding here in South Florida. And then June, July, you'll start to see egg laying in the Cuban iguanas. And then with the Rhino iguanas, it's a little bit later. It's July into early August, if all goes well. And then you get babies 90 days later. What's my favorite animal in my collection? Jessica Almazin. Hey, buddy. What's my favorite animal? Well, Guapo is one of them, that's for sure, because he's been here a long time with me. So definitely Guapo. I love Nostradamus. I love Slinky. But, guys, it's just so hard to really have one as a favorite. He's bobbing. He's showing look at how good he looks, right? It's just hard to have one. But those three that I named, I spend a lot of time with them. I love Darwin, the big galops and stuff. They're fun. I'll just let him hang out on my shoulder. I hope you guys don't mind. Let's see. Let's see. We're looking for more. How often do I interact with my lizards or with them to keep them this tame? Christopher Collins. Good question. All right. So when I first got Guapo and Lola, I immediately put them in the enclosure they're in now. They've been in a 12 by 20 foot long enclosure that's 8 foot tall since August of 2004, which is crazy. I mean, they were tiny. They were like that big. So what I did was I just kept them there, and then I would always walk in there. So I'd go in there once a day. You gonna kiss me? I'd go in there once a day and hang out and just sit and just spend time with them. That's the only thing I ever did, was just get them used to my presence. Instead of them seeing me as a predator looking to hurt them, they saw me as the big creature that came in to bring them food. And in a few months, they started to calm down. Within a year, they were running up and sitting on my lap doing this kind of thing. I remember thinking back when they were so small, I couldn't wait for the day that they were this big. And it just kind of happened overnight. You just spend the time, take the time. People want to rush. I wanted to get to this point so quick. But the only way you can really get there is to take your time, because now he and I have a really nice trust. Lola's the same way. I personally, this is my experience, with my Rhino iguanas and my Cyclura, with my Cubans, I feel like my Cubans tamed up faster. It's just my opinion. Other people will say something different, and that's fine. But here at Kamp Kenan, the Cuban rock iguanas have definitely tamed up much quicker than my other guys, my rhinos, right? Yeah, that's right, dude. He's awesome, man. So just spend time with him. Don't go grabbing them all the time. Allow them to come to you. I think that's the way you build trust. Does he get flies? No, he doesn't eat flies or have flies on him or anything like that. Let's see. I'm scrolling down. Oh, hey, hold on, guys. I'm looking for relevant questions. Hold on one second. Trying to get an idea of cost. How much did you spend on his enclosure? Derek Brown. All right, Derek. Well, his full enclosure was built, and I'm going to pull him back up. His full enclosure was actually built by a professional back in the day, because I didn't know how to do too much building back then. It cost me $5,000. And that enclosure is, let's see, it's 24 foot long by 24 foot wide. And it was divided in two 12-foot sections, 12 by 20-foot sections, 8 foot tall. It's made out of aluminum tubing. And it's also made out of vinyl coated wire. That stuff's expensive. One roll of 4 foot by 100 foot wire is about $480. So almost $500 for a 100-foot roll of that stuff. The tubing is aluminum, so it can be expensive. I like using that material out here because it's strong, it doesn't rust, it doesn't rot. The vinyl coated wire is nice because they can see that there's a structure there, but when they rub on it, it's coated so it doesn't hurt their nose. So, you're looking at about $5 grand in those materials. You can build them much, much less costly out of wood. You could probably build a nice enclosure for about $1,000, $1,500. But you know, just remember, wood's going to rot eventually. Even if you use pressure treated, it will eventually rot on you, and that's no good. So I like to use materials that once you build them, they're there forever, you know. And that has been through a few hurricanes, which is fantastic because that's a concern. When a hurricane comes, I pull the animals out, I put them in a safe spot, right? And then we just basically, he doesn't want to stay up here anymore. And then basically we just go ahead and do that. You gonna move on off, bud? I'm gonna let Guapo go, and I'm gonna try and grab out the next little booger. But let me first answer another question. What's the average lifespan of cycloras? You're looking anywhere from 30 to 50 years, sometimes even more. They are a long-lived species, and that was from Daniel S. Let's see. Hey, Callie from Michigan. Ooh, Michigan, cold right now. How often, what lizard should I get in England? I don't know what's available in England, so I really can't help you, but I would get one that can take cooler, wetter temperatures. Let's see. Reptile Gamer blog, sorry about the lag, guys. I'm trying to keep this going. We're on the Ethernet today, and hopefully the lag is not too bad, but please struggle along with us. Let's keep going down. There's a lot of questions down here. I'm going to go all the way down. Do males do a mating dance to each other? Abdul Tal. No, there's not really a mating dance. They bob their heads. Males are aggressive. Males in the wild are going to have their own kind of area. And in that area, they're going to have a couple different females that overlap into that area. So a male will breed with several females, and he kind of keeps control of his area. So when you put two male cyclura together, no good, man. Those guys can definitely get very, very aggressive towards each other. So I'm going to quickly grab this little booger. Here's a baby rhino, man. This is the little crooks that you guys saw in the video here. Let's see, that you guys saw in the video on Tuesday. There's his little crooked tail. You can see that right there. So this little guy is only a couple of months old, hatched out in October. So 3 months old, growing slow but steady. I like to grow them slow and steady to keep these guys going. So they're doing well, man. And this little guy, I am going to sell him eventually. Little Dave is on his way Monday to a new home. So I didn't want to bring him out because he's going to belong to another family, and I didn't want to run the chance of him escaping on me. So you got to be careful there. Let's see if I can switch cameras, guys. I'm going to switch so you can get a little bit of a better look at this dude right here, and we can talk a little bit more about it. All right, give me 1 second. Go to the FaceTime camera, and we'll set. All right, there you go. So here he is right here, folks. I haven't got a name for him yet, but he's a meanwhile, Guapo's just going on a walkabout. But there he is, and you can really see that little crooked tail. Now, I don't know if it was incubation temperature that caused this or if it's some kind of genetic defect that caused that, but he came out of the egg like that. So you just want to make sure you feed him a proper diet, high in calcium. And you want to make sure he's getting a lot of greens. I do feed the Missouri tortoise diet. This little guy eats it all up, but they're cute. So this is a baby rhino iguana. And he's got the beginnings of multi-horns on his head, right, like that. Really, really cool lizard. I love these guys. Let's see what you guys are talking about right now. I got to be careful. And he's got a lot of spunk. He's going to get me. Oh, yeah. Just a bite, and then he lets go. So let me go ahead and hold on here, and I'll answer some questions for y'all. Let's see. Someone new. I want to see if you guys can see this. Hey, man. Hey, Art. Hajidini from Kosovo. Very cool. Thanks for joining us, man. Hope it's not too late over there. Mike Tatula. I'm glad you called me live, bud. Let's see. All right. So, hey, I live in California. It's been cold lately. This is April Castaneda. It's been cold lately. What would you suggest for my green iguana? Should I add like a heat rock or heat lamp in his enclosure in my room? What would you do if it's too cold? I'd definitely add a heat lamp and keep those basking temperatures at around 95 to 105 degrees, believe it or not. I'd add that, and at night I would add what do they call it? Like a thermal radiant heat bulb. It's actually a ceramic bulb that just gives off heat. I've used them here. You know, we get cold nights here in Florida, and I definitely use those bulbs and things just to keep the animal going. Let's see. YMB, you mad bro? Am I a biologist? If not, what do I do for a living? I am not a biologist. I love science. I've been a fan of science all the time. I guess I am a professional reptile keeper. I do breed some of these animals for pets. I'm a broadcaster. I do the YouTube channels. I do voiceovers for television. And every now and again, I do stunts in movies and so on. But mostly I do this. Kamp Kenan, we're trying to grow it. And we appreciate you guys always watching and joining us for these live shows and our Sunday and Tuesday videos. Thank you so much. And also thank you for the support with the t-shirts, guys. We're doing really well. We have women's sizes, youth sizes, double XL, plus medium large and extra large, and so and small. And so we do appreciate that. It's basically myself and my buddy Tom Coppola. We do this just for the love of these animals, just to have fun. We just want to go shoot video and do some fun things, and we're excited because we're going to have some cool stuff this year as far as going to India and Costa Rica. So be ready for that. So that's it, guys. This is a little bit, I figure we'd answer some questions, and maybe I'll take another question. Let's see. You were 6 months old. Who's this? Aiden Gaiman 420. I was 6 months old when you got Guapo. That's pretty good. You spelled Guapo right, I believe. Wow, 6 months old, man. That's awesome. So Guapo and you are pretty close in age. But anyway, I got my family here. You can see in the background, my nephew and his friend are around. So I guess I'm going to close things off today. A little shot of this guy. Thank you guys so much for joining us. Don't forget, Sunday we'll have another video, as well as every Tuesday, new episodes of Kamp Kenan. Don't forget, 2017 is going to be a big year for us. And if you guys like these videos, please share them. Share them on Facebook, share them on Instagram, however you can get the word out about what I'm doing. What we're becoming a really nice community here. We're trying to really get education out there for these animals in a fun way. All right, very cool. I got to go get animals away because it's going to be cold. So thanks so much. Say goodbye to Crooks, I guess. I don't know. But anyway, guys, we'll see you again real soon. Thanks for joining me on this live broadcast. Later.